You disagree with stealth being useless on blaster casters? I think, yeah, most people probably would. I think it's an oversimplification and generalization on my end for sure. I agree with that. Sometimes you find stealth actually annoying. You throw a rock at an enemy to get its attention, lose you after like 2 steps. Oh, who did we had a character that was struggling with that all the time. One of our Felids, but that was just because of our fast move speed. We turned too many corners and be like, oh my gosh, now there's a wandering monster somewhere on this level. Who the heck knows which direction they went after they lost my scent? There are times when it's better to not blast cast, even as a blaster caster. What? No. You wound me. If you're not blasting, what the heck are you doing with your life? No, that does make sense, though. In boss level, you're told its best strength is being able to take harder fights later. Yeah, no, it definitely makes a lot of sense. I think there's a lot to be gained from stealth, for sure. And a storm dragon, hey? You're not the titan at the end of the road. Did I get Arlek from something? Where did we see Arlek? Oh, I do have Arlek. Oh, look at that. Wow. Oh, man. Did I have that when I fought the earlier Titan too and I drank Resistance? Did I drink Resistance for no reason whatsoever? Gosh darn it. But Colgate, your Spriggan was trying to pull enemies just outside line of sight with Lightning Bolt and had trouble. Giant thunderclap, and they're like, huh, what was that? Must have been the wind. With Belfon, it basically gives you better control over how an encounter begins. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And Colgate, since they kept ignoring you, you just stepped into their line of sight, charged MCC while they were clueless. Yeah, that's definitely a good use case for it. I love the idea of a stealthy lightning bolt. So sneaky, so dastardly. Oh, so there wasn't a Titan, there was just the Storm Dragon. Huh. Manual of Dodging. Interesting. Tin of Tremor Stones I do want, seeing as how we actually have fairly decent resists here. Don't need a Phantom Mirror. Not in this lifetime, fortunately. And I guess that's that. Do we even want to bother clearing out the rest of this area, or do we just get the heck out of Dodge? Go on, get going. Potentially. With the caveat that we know that there's some experience here in the future if we ever find ourselves desperately in need of such things. But as is, I'm pretty happy with how that went. Again, just far too smooth sailing today. I don't know, is this what it's always been like to not play Feel It and I forgot what the light looked like? It had been so long since I felt the warmth of the sun? Maybe. But I'd like to take you kiddos upstairs real quick. Fantastic, there we go. I haven't found any other amulets this game, right? Yeah, just an Amulet of Faith, which I guess, could use, but I'm not too interested in. We could also go and finish clearing Orc. Might be some more shops there, and I would very much like to get a different amulet so we actually have the magic we need for our escape options. Why did we even leave Orc? It seems like it would just be a no-brainer to do it. Right, El Roca. Lack of willpower. Not great. Could run and grab some resist poison. If I got sent to the Abyss now, it would probably be a death sentence, but not guaranteed. Experience level 16 is where I start to have like the barest glimmer of hopes. Level 20 is where you want to be at to be even the barest like comfortable. And anything above that, depending on the character, you might just be good to go. Or we can maybe survive in the Abyss. Is it worth it? Just hope that Elroka doesn't send us there? Probably not. You had 14.1 stealth, Jivy gave noise dampening and stealth plus mutations. Oh nice, and you were wearing a robe, so no ER stealth penalty either. Yeah, that's stealthier than the majority of my stealth characters have been over the years. That's pretty wild. But okay. I should come to some kind of decision as to what I'm doing here. Could definitely finish off dungeon. Am I better off in Snake rather than facing off against Elroka and hoping I get something good there? I guess I potentially want to go get a resist poison ring. How's my bank account looking? Yeah, that's not too bad. Let's do it. Run over here real quick like. I will buy you, please and thank you kindly. Sap of Earth can definitely hit the deck. And AC ring isn't quite as necessary now. 25 AC is still plenty, all things considered. And let's head back to Snake, or at least think about it. You had 3 pips of stealth when carrying Orb of Zot, or before carrying it. Or yeah, you had 3 pips when carrying it. Before carrying it, you were at off the scale, I'm guessing. No, that sounds pretty wild for sure. That's fun stuff. Oh, this is gonna be weird. We're gonna be facing sharpshooters in their own arena here. That doesn't really happen very often. This is gonna be wild. You think you had like 9? It sounds about right. That sounds like a pretty wild adventure to say the least. Again, much stealthier than the majority of characters that I've designated as stealth characters and devoted my life to the discipline. Let's definitely just try and kill everyone as they approach now that we've established our foothold here. Hopefully have time to heal up. I wouldn't mind some regen. In fact, Amulet of Regen is probably top tier for me right now. Reflection isn't bad either, but we don't exactly have the shielding to back it up. So I'd probably be happy with just the former there. Longsword of Distortion could have been annoying as well. But fortunately, we should be able to kill most of these snakes. That's the thing. We're pretty slow, so we don't get the normal advantage of, oh, you can just run away from any fight in Snake. But the flip side of that is it still takes snakes a long time to approach us. So ideally, we can get a lot of damage done in the interim. Can use our hop to just back away and riddle you with holes as you make your approach. Fantastic. How are we doing right now? 1.1, just slowed by armor right now because we're at full skill. Interesting. Think I can train a bit more armor to reduce that? I think that's how that works. Definitely correct me if I'm wrong, since I am fairly new to this whole setup with whatchamacallit, the new range changes. That'd make a certain amount of sense to me if training armor, much like spellcasting, reduce the penalties. In which case, maybe I want to do so? I mean, it's not too much to just bring this up to something like 14, say? That seems reasonable, don't it? But, okie dokes, let's start our way through Snake here and see how it all goes down. Man, I need to play more characters like this. I need to also temper myself. Let's try to reduce the growing amount of hubris that I'm feeling as this run continues on. You think the only thing you can't train armor for is stealth penalty? Oh, good to know, good to know. A Wand of Flame I'm probably done with now. I should maybe get rid of my single Ice Blast charge, but never know when that will come in handy hitting something that is way too evasive for my tastes. But there we go. Now that's my kind of shop. So, I think... Ooh. There's also the Ring of Willpower. Both pretty huge. I think I'll start with regen, just so we have some sustain in these big fights, as well as switching off my necklace before it gets me killed, seeing as how I can't step from time when it's around. That seems like a nice exchange there. And we'll try it out. Should have very good sustain regardless of how we slice it here. And I should do alright against these Kiddlywinks, not too shabby whatsoever. Again, kind of just running on autopilot here, but so far it is working. Oh, that was also all of our scrolls ID'd now. Very cool. It's so funny fighting the Arbalists. I'm so used to them being just the bane of my existence. And here we are, actually kind of meeting them in their own field of battle. No problems whatsoever. You like Faith Crochet, lets you press buttons more often. See, that's the best like slouch approach too. You can get some wild builds where you're just murdering everything with slouch without a care in the world. So I definitely would also support that choice. I think I'm having too much fun right now with the current ranged build to switch off. So I like the idea of just heavy sustain and, you know, able to stick in the fight a bit longer here. See, even your greatest enemies can become your best friends. You learn a lot from your greatest foes, for sure. Not wrong there. You know, there's some stuff in there. I think I will take a bit of a gander, if you please. Should just be able to tab my way through, especially. Fantastic. And okie dokie. Let's just keep going, I guess. And I'm not used to this the speed here. Definitely take the Pyroclast upstairs, or sorry, Tyrant is what you're called. I think Pyroclastic Surge is what you do. So in many ways you are a Pyroclastic Surger. That's fair, right? At least that's how most occupational conjugations work. Don't see why it has to be different for our lovely salamander friends. Okay, that's quite the gathering we have going here. Let's back off into at least a wee bit of a choke point. It's worth the few extra steps. Okay, yeah, nobody was even close. Holy moly. Be pretty cool if I found the explosive artifact crossbow this run. Oh yeah, the one that flings damnation. Is it, or is it called damnation? Now I'm blanking. But yes, I agree. If we could get the purple Arbalist of Doom, that would be super swell. And I'm still getting used to the fact that we can just use any kind of ranged weapon. Like, that in its own right is pretty fantastic. You think Oka's less boring after rework? Sacrifice love conduct makes them have a downside. Right, I need to play more Oka, because I definitely haven't tried out too much. I don't even think I've used Duel. I've heard so many things about it, and I've thought about lots of fun applications and situations where it could be useful, but I've never gotten to that point with Oka. But I do agree that, yeah, taking away the ability to have any friendly summons definitely adds a fun wrinkle to Okwar, because Okwar used to be pretty bland, pretty milquetoast, right? Just your classic dad god. But now there's definitely a bit more flavor there, which I like. Duel's also cool. I really like that, yeah, it's a nice mix between straight up useful and also having some fun little niche utility uses for it. It's pretty cool. It's not just a buff like Oka's other abilities, right? Because yeah, Oka used to be, again, just super straightforward. Your abilities just make you the same but slightly better. Weapon gifts are just making you the same but slightly better. There wasn't a heck of a lot going on there, but now there's definitely some flavor, which I always appreciate any addition of in the game. And holy moly, that's Snake Pit 4 already? What are we doing for time? This is so strange for me. I'm used to taking an eternity to get anything done. And that's not even just an aspect of recently playing Feel It. That's just me as a player is generally the slowest person in existence. Okay, but let's take Azul upstairs. I don't like being slowed here, especially since that's a decent chunk of change. Holy moly. You know? There's something to you, my friend. I kind of forgot that you could also put me to sleep, which is very bad. So I think I'll step from time here real quick. And I'll just rest up as much as I possibly can, and then let's find that son of a gun again, have a bit of a sequel here. A bit of Azul 2 Electric Boogaloo. And this time around, Phantom Mirror. Use fancy period key so that I'm not, if I miss firing through and hitting my my friend. And by our powers combined, I should say, we will manage to make it through. Fantastic. And that should be most of what we left behind. Okay, still a few buddies to clean up here. Yeah. Oh, hello there. Are people gonna stop me from stepping up? Not well enough. Wonderful. Let's jump over here real quick. Immediately get surrounded again. Fair enough. Did you slow me? How did I get slowed this time? Or was I wasn't still slowed, right? Huh. Well, that's not great. Well, oh my gosh. Colgate, you wouldn't believe it. It's a freaking miracle. Mid-situation here, I just remembered. I have a little something called a vocable blink. Oh my gosh. He's done it? Oh, it didn't work? Classic. Constriction blocked it. Cool. I'm still just giddy at the thought that I somehow, against all odds, managed to remember it existed. What the heck? Such things were said to be legend, only possible in myth. Let's read a teleport. And, how confident am I in just surviving here? 42 damage on you, my friend, 31 damage on you. Cool trick. If you read all your options, you do not need to remember them. Reading? What do you think I am? Some kind of nerd here? Oh, man. No, that's fair. L plus ratio. You got me there. Since I'm slowed, does Sludge do a ton of damage here? I think it does. I mean, still slightly less just because of these Sons of Guns being slower. Let's try it out. Let's see what happens. Black Mambas both immediately die. Oh, and then I take way more damage than I expected, but it also dealt a decent chunk of change. So one more of those probably kills the two peripheries and then just leaves the Naga Warrior left. 42 damage, 26 AC. That's not great. You know, this is a drinking stream, not a reading stream. As well as tip for any potential audience. Fair enough. I guess potentially safest option is to use one of our special abilities, hey. I probably don't even need to stamp from time. I can probably just temporal distortion. Now let's just step from time. I cannot be bothered regardless, and it's just guaranteed safety. Let's not get too fancy with it. We're on a character that could very easily win a 3-rune game already at this point, so I'd like to continue that trajectory if at all possible. That sounds like it might be nice. And you poor fool, I feel very bad for that Naga friend. And how'd Colgate know you were drinking boss level? Yeah, that's right. This is actually, this whole stream that I've been putting on airs for years and a bit here, it's actually, I'm sorry to say, just an intervention boss level. We're worried about you. But okie doke, so let's continue clearing through here. If only I knew how to put a capstone on a joke. Instead, I usually just say it, chuckle a little to myself, and then okie dokes my way out of it. Pretend nothing happened. Perfect. We got a real comedian over here, folks. That being me. Many of you are actually quite funny, so I wouldn't make the same snarky, sarcastic comments that I make about myself. Hey, Guardian Serpent is back. Oh, never mind, they're dead. Well, that's one way to clear them. Just miss the person directly in front of you to murder the actual danger that's creeping in behind. You love to see it. That's some luck that's so good it must be a superpower shenanigans going on there. Aha. And this is End Vault. Wait, this is all we have going? Okay, and it seems like it's a salamander slash fire themed one? Okay, I'm down. That works for my current setup. In fact, we could switch off poison resistance for even more fire resistance. That doesn't seem bad. General Joker's chicken is something to be proud of. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. No, and I'm sorry for ever doubting you, of course. The lost recipe of General Joker's chicken. Found once more. Who knew? The prophecy has been fulfilled. Is this at all worrisome? Is this getting scary? My scarometer is kind of broken this run because hubris is at an all-time high. I mean, Kiddlywinks are hasted, so they're going to be attacking pretty dang fast. I was about to say in before I just die right here without really having a moment to reflect on my choices in life and regret the decisions I've made that have led me here. As is. I mean, we could slouch, kills the marks person for sure. Ritualist, probably not a huge deal. 30 damage from you. That's not great. Not the end of the world either, though. As we mentioned before, though, let's just play it safe. I'll step from time. Well, you weren't supposed to be here. At least you're not hasted this time, though. 27 plus an extra 12. Very unlikely you kill me. Famous last words and all that. Oh, right, and I have a flaming crossbow, so that's probably not doing wonders for us here in this flamed-themed park that we're living in. This lava theme park, but not the end of the world either. Guardian Serpent, have you got any friends to send my way, or I guess not? Is the answer there? Guardian Spirit we'll leave behind. Pretty happy with our current setup here, and we'll just blast our way through these sons of guns. Shouldn't be too much trouble one way or another. Oh, if I could just get all of you in one scope here. Yeah, that's pretty close. I'll slouch that. Good damage. Again. Perfect. Just to play it a little bit safer, get some preliminary damage, murder some of the closer sons of guns, the faster sons of guns while we're at it. Close that in the face of the incoming Anaconda. Perfect. And not too shabby. I don't love this, so we can whip out Yield Hop here. If I can just get to perfect, some relative safety in the choke point, that is wonderful. And then we just tab our way through life's trials and tribulations, afloat on the sea of Arbalism. Arbalestists? Arbalism, I guess, is potentially right. It makes me think of herbalism. That's all I can think of when I mutter the utterance. Okay, and there we go. We've hit all of our skill caps once again here. Through life's trouser snakes. Exactly. You know, you're speaking to me there, boss level. Great minds think alike. It's all about the trouser snakes on my end. We do have this manual of dodging, so I probably want to take advantage of that. At least have that on the back burner. Maybe we put ranged weapons back on for a bit. Range of 22. Did I do vampire already? I did, yeah. That was actually one of the more recent series besides Felid that was a little bit of a painful run of it. We went through quite a few vampires. Deep Elf, Vampire, and Felid are the three that gave me the most trouble. Vampire surprised me. I mean, they're not super strong, but I think part of it was that I kept really wanting to actively use, like, swapping between Bloodless and not, instead of the kind of go-to move these days, which is just play them as a human and just roll with it, and it's usually turns out just fine. And which god for vampire? Oof. I don't know. That's a great question. Many over the course of all the murdered vampires that we ran with, all the Helsing line, since we brought them in. I think that was our main namesake for the series. What did we end up winning with on vampire? It was probably something boring like Gozek, if I had to guess. Also, not sure if you are in yet, Wizard, but thank you so much for the raid and welcome. Welcome, everyone. I really appreciate you coming on by. Hey, Wizard, there you are. Hope your stream went well today. What were you up to? Boss level, it sucks the necromancy change happened right after I finished vampire. Right? We could have tried it out a bit more there. Didn't work great for us on Felix, but maybe vampire would have been the difference. But Wizard, how am I finding Barachi? I am loving it. Mostly I'm loving the ranged weapon changes. Oh my gosh. Just absolutely slaughtering everything. This is one of the faster runs that I've done in recent memory. But in general, yeah, a lot of fun. I mean, very much like my Naga playstyle, I decided to go Che, just fully lean into the slow species combinations here, and it's working out really well for us so far. I mean, crazy luck as well, don't get me wrong. Finding this son of a gun in a store, plus 10 Fire Dragon scales with good ego as well, not something that you can rely on happening at any given opportunity, but still enjoying Barachi. The hop is really strong. The hop has saved me so many times here, and kind of combos really nicely with the ranged build, because we can kind of hop away, fire at will upon them as they all approach, fight for a bit, and then hopefully have hop up again by then and keep going, keep kiting. Speaking of boring gods and vampire, you think playing vampire pep where you stay permanently in bat form and let ancestor kill everything could be fun? Oh, become like a familiar, basically. A familiar to your own ancestor. That does sound pretty wild. That's a fun little challenge run for sure. I'm curious how viable it is. I need to play more HEP before I have any real inclination as to whether that could be a legitimate option here to try out at some point. Help with the vocables in tough situations, right? Yeah, be the best familiar you can be. You just have to stay in bat form. That's the only stipulation. Oh, that sounds fun for sure. But where do we wish to go next? We still have the last bit of Orc to clear. Are we at least up to 2 pips of willpower yet? No? So even with a willpower ring, wouldn't quite cut it. Still would have to be slightly concerned about potential banishment. On the flip side, I don't think we'll be getting the 3rd rune today on this run, but this is a character finally, first in a long time, that we might actually take into Abyss, which means we'll potentially be checking out new Abyss changes for the first time on camera, so that's pretty exciting. Hopefully it goes as well as my one foray into the Abyss off camera, in which case I immediately ran into the rune as soon as I got to floor 3 and never had to worry about going all the way down to 7, seeing how scary things get down there. But hey, we'll have to see how it goes. Maybe we'll just head to vaults for now. I guess still kind of dangerous for willpower, hey? Do I have enough money for that willpower ring? Just barely not enough? Well, let's just go to D15 and see what happens, shall we? But Wizard, you like the new range too? You did an extended run with a triple crossbow a few days ago. Oof, I'm very jealous. We're hoping that we find a triple crossbow at some point in this run. I'm not sure how likely it is going to be, but it would be nice to get to, yeah, completely run with this idea and have some good fun with it. So that's the plan. Won't be going to extended regardless, but it still would be fun. And ooh, a ruined arbalist. I mean, right now I'm kind of, as I was just mentioning game, I'm kind of saving up for something. I have a special plan here where I need just the slightest amount of willpower. But we'll see how much money we get from finishing this floor. Maybe it's a possibility in our future. Maybe, just maybe. Again, it's just so convenient to just blast my way through. Even in Eden, which I should have at least taken a moment to recognize the fear that I should feel for them, did not faze me in the slightest. And they just died immediately, so how about that? Maybe new hells for the third rune? Maybe. I mean, this character, at least comparative to like all of our Felids, I would actually feel a bit more comfortable fighting Garyon at some point. I don't think I will. You know, we're not super into this series for the challenge runs. I wouldn't mind getting to play more Barachi, but at the same time, if we just finish Barachi, Mummy, and Meteorin, or I guess Barachi, Meteorin, and Mummy in that order, then maybe, just maybe, we can play as many Barachi as we want. That's the beauty of it. We can see who we end up going for extended. I would be curious, can ranged users like this, do a bit better in extended? Wizard, how did you find that extended run? Also, no pressure to answer or stick around if you have anything you need to do. I know that can be tough sometimes when you come in on a raid. But I'm so used to spellcasters being the only really viable choice. I mean, I've taken a few melee characters into extended before, and that's not great. Not ideal by any stretch of the imagination, so I'm curious, with ranged in its current state, with good decks, how does that go?